welcome to another Channel Insights interview from the Channel Institute. And today I'm delighted to be joined by David English, President of TSL Marketing. And TSL Marketing are a specialist channel marketing agency. And today David's going to be talking to us about partner differentiation. So welcome, David. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Mike.
So David, what is partner differentiation and why is it important?
It's really interesting. Partner differentiation is extremely crucial for a whole variety of reasons. But to start off with, what is partner differentiation? It's really all about how a channel partner, and we may use a few different terms for channel partner like solution provider or reseller, but it's all about how a channel partner can show that they're unique and different from every other channel partner that's selling the same product or service. And in many ways, a simple way to look at it would be, what makes you special? What makes you unique? Why should I consider doing business with you versus everybody else that may have similar or like capabilities?
And in terms of partners who maybe are weak at differentiation or the ones that are strong, what are the consequences and benefits of being successful or being weak at differentiation?
Well, this goes really into the whole core of business growth. So for many channel partners, the challenge is, how do we grow outside of word of mouth, referrals, and growing our existing install base? And part of this is we have to become truly differentiated. And so I should add, back to what I mentioned earlier, is that part of partner differentiation is having something that's genuine and real underneath it. So this becomes sort of your competitive advantage. That competitive advantage is part of differentiation. Partners that don't have that can't show that they're different than everyone else, will have a very difficult time selling net new customers because they just look like everybody else. So why am I going to buy from you versus everyone else? And in that case, those companies have a very difficult time growing versus the channel partners that have done a very good job of showing why we're unique can grow as a result of that.
And for channel partners that want to differentiate themselves, how do they go about this? What are the basics?
There are a whole bunch of ways we can differentiate ourselves, or I should say a channel partner can differentiate themselves. And I would look at it, really, this gets into how can we create competitive advantage as well. So we may look at it first simply on what's the segment that we're going to focus on. So we can look at companies based on industry, geography, perhaps size of company. We may look at functional areas of responsibility within a company. We may look at it based on the problems we solve. So from a first take, a channel partner can differentiate based on those factors. Secondly, partners can differentiate based on their own abilities. So we may look at a channel differentiation of a channel firm based on their knowledge, so their people, their subject matter expertise, where they're very good. They can differentiate based on customers that they have. So we're good, we've got good people, and we've got customers in this area to back up our differentiation. There are a variety of other ways we can differentiate that may be a little less attractive. So, for example, we can indeed differentiate on price. We don't like to do it. That's not really true competitive advantage. But certainly, if you become a more efficient operation, you can differentiate on price. Or maybe you're a smaller firm and you have less overhead, you can differentiate that way. And along with that, there may be things you can do contractually to help you differentiate your firm. You're willing to provide better contract types or guarantees or terms than your competitors. Again, we would be less inclined to try to differentiate that way for channel partners or recommend it, but it's certainly at your disposal.
And you mentioned different ways that they can differentiate themselves there. What about the sales process? Is there any way that channel partners can differentiate themselves during the sales process?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, if you sort of think about your business, everything you do can support how you differentiate yourself, which again is tied into your brand to one extent and tied into your competitive advantage. So during the sales process, if you have a particular differentiation, you absolutely want to pull that into your sales process. So we may pull in subject matter experts to have conversations with the customers to help demonstrate our value and our differentiation. We might pull in customers or reference our customer stories as part of that competitive differentiation. So there are all things we can do from a sales process to emphasize how we're different all along the way.
And I know a lot of partners are interested in differentiating themselves along marketing lines. Are there parts of the marketing strategy or marketing approach that can be used by channel partners to differentiate themselves?
There sure is, and in fact, this is an area near and dear to my heart. What we find is that marketing can very much help to emphasize, articulate, and expand the differentiation. So, for example, maybe we're focused on financial services companies and we're selling into perhaps marketing people in financial services companies, and we're helping them understand how they can reach their B2C customers better and more effectively. Well, guess what? We can write a lot of content about best practices in that area, what other companies are doing, use cases. We can write loads of content on there and have our own marketing materials, our own take on that. And that very process can help to demonstrate our knowledge, which helps to emphasize our differentiation. So again, you can see where these things are all tied in together as part of a coherent business strategy. All these areas in marketing and sales can tie in to help show how your firm is unique.
And you mentioned you've a lot of experience working with channel partners on differentiation. Can you talk to us maybe about the typical partners that you see, ones that are successful at this and perhaps ones that are less successful?
I sure can. And in fact, it's a little easier to start with the ones that aren't differentiated because they pop off the screen a little more to me as being very me too. And so the traits that those companies have is that they all look the same. So I've had a chance to do a lot of, in addition to the agency work we do, I've done a lot of consulting work over the years. And as we assess companies' digital presence, I read many channel partners, it reads as if it's the exact next channel partner. And I know it reads because I actually read the next channel partner, it's the same thing, it's the same story. And if your story is something that dozens or hundreds of other companies could say the exact same thing, or relatively close to it with high degree of credibility, you're not differentiated. You're not unique. On the other hand, the companies that are highly differentiated, when you look at it, you read the story and you realize there aren't many companies at all that can say it. There may be one or two or three at best other companies that can say the exact same thing with any degree of credibility. And so those are how we would tend to see the companies that are highly differentiated, the traits that they have, from those that really go to market on a Me Too type message.
Great, thanks. And finally, do you have any key takeaways, a few tips that you can leave with our students to help them really bring some new impact to differentiating themselves as a channel reseller, or if they're working with a vendor to help their channel partners differentiate themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. It all goes back to just your business strategy. Who are you focusing on? And for newer companies, you want to make that initial segment narrow enough that you can be very focused and say something that's very unique, and then you build on it over time. If you find that you're an established company that has been in business for a long time and grown through referral and word of mouth, and you haven't quite differentiated yourself because it's happened sort of organically, I don't want to say by accident, but it just, who you are has just sort of evolved over time, then you may want to take stock in what are the commonalities that you have in your people and in your customers today. And then can you further refine that? Can you take that and say, let's take the segment that we're most strong on and really narrowly define that, more narrowly define it, and then start building over time off of that segment. That would be the best approach I can recommend.
Well, David, as always, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure and great insights for all of our students at Channel Institute. So thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you, Mike.